Walking on the promenade again. Just did an upload yesterday or this morning with a recording from the promenade. I've only done a recording once from the promenade before, and so maybe do the second one. I just wanted to kind of, although I'm almost at the end of my walk, I wanted to just talk about my experience while walking and the things that I see and the thoughts that are coming to me. Because it's just so much to just pay attention to. There's just so much that's happening. There's so many worlds going on that I'm noticing. I've never noticed before how children they look like their parents, and that makes me start thinking about who are we. I'm so identified with the way I sound, with the way I talk, with the way I look. Also part of me the way that I think, and so much of that is not really who I am and what I'm about. It makes me wonder. I was watching something about a child who remembers his past life as a woman named Pam, a black lady named Pam, and they checked it out. The mother had a look, and she found this woman named Pam. It was a black lady, and she put all these pictures in front of her son of different ladies, and she said to me, "Do you recognize any of these people?" And he points to the very picture and says, "This is Pam." Now, it wasn't acted. The child, I think he was 4 years old, or 5. You could see there was just no acting there. It was absolutely sincere. It's absolutely sincere. So start thinking to yourself, 1 minute this is a young little boy, white boy, and then, but not even a blink of an eye, he was somebody named Pam, black lady. Weird. Again, you cannot make sense of. I hope the ocean's not too loud again. Moving a little further away, exactly right. But yeah, we cannot make sense of life, of how it works. It's nonsense, like I said before. It's nonsense. It can't make any sense to us with our primitive way of thinking in mind. And oh my word, how limited we really are. I mean, we have the imagination, which, it's just somewhat as good as it gets, and other things as well. But anyway, so I'm just walking and I'm just witnessing and observing the other people, and I'm seeing the way that they dress, the way that they walk. I don't look too much because it's just too overwhelming. There's too much information coming in. But I can see, I walked past this lady in a wheelchair, must have been in her 40s, and she looked like she had kind of special needs, but she looked like she had such a gentle soul. And I think a friend of hers or somebody was pushing her in the wheelchair, and they look like such gentle souled people. And then you get you walk past somebody and they got gold teeth, a guy, and tattoos on his neck, and he's got his hair gelled and wearing tight jeans and like a golf top, and with his sunglasses on his forehead, that type of thing. And you just see different kind of experience, different kind of people, and whatever it might be. So that also what I notice. Then I notice loneliness in people. I notice the people that are trying to sort of be brave in a way. I don't know what I mean by that. It's too much. Well, I do know, but there was this lady that I walked past. She must have been in her late 40s, Indian lady, and I mean from India. She's not from India. Somebody in her family. She's born here, but Indian origin, and it's probably straightforward. That I don't know. And she's sitting there. I think she's waiting for somebody, and I could see she just had so much on her plate, not food-wise. I'm saying just so much on her heart that really she just felt so alone. And the thing is that we all feel alone. I was really thinking about this, that to try to find somebody who truly loves you, not a family member, right? Because a family member, there's something different there. But because the thing is that beyond our family, the world you're just a stranger to the world, just a stranger. there is something to blood in a sense, although there isn't, because I mean, but there is a stronger bond within family that's biologically there, let's just say, than it is for strangers, and essentially we are all strangers to each other in a strange land, in a very hostile world, very hostile. The last time I was walking on the promenade, I was talking about could this be hell? And I wasn't saying that in a negative way at all. I'm just seeing it for what it is, and maybe the word hell is not right, because hell sounds like, but I mean, come on, is hell really devil and pitchforks and fire and brimstone and torture? I mean, come on, I mean, our souls, there is a part of us that is definitely tortured here, definitely tortured. You've seen the TV series The Good Place. They tell the people that after they die that they've arrived in the good place, and really they're there to psychologically and emotionally traumatize them. It's actually hell, and they like say, well, this is your soul, what's it called? Oh man, when you have not a twin soul, it's your soulmate, and it's like the complete opposite of what they would ever be interested in, and so they torment the people by the delusion, by deluding them that they actually, so that's the same thing that goes on. It goes on here.
I hope you saw no one.
Don't know what she's talking about.
I'm sure. I'm starting to feel tired, eh?
Yeah, so just having a listen and seeing the different people, teenagers, yeah. Yeah. So what was I saying? I got distracted. I wanted to see if there's something to talk about there. Yeah, so I was talking about hell. So I was talking about really again how much again we waste time in regards to like how much is invested in. I mean, again, I'm saying, like, I can see the people in front of me, right? I mean, I honestly don't feel that they're they're youngsters, but even if the one had to be really emotional, like even when I was a youngster, or just to be really honest and sincere and talk about going through a hard time, I wish one of their friends would actually know how to be there for them sincerely. Anyway, sorry, I forgot what I was saying, but there is a part like we call friendships and relationships, and that's what I was saying about before. I think it's very, very unusual to be met with unconditional love, and I'm talking in the sense between a man and a woman. I mean, I know that there are different things and there are other ways, but I'm just saying for myself, my own personal experience, that I just find it's very, very, very rare, because the circumstances don't support it. There's too much pressure in this life that we live. There's too much financial, there's too much social pressure. There's children that are, come into this world. There's too much social engineering. There's too much child trauma that's not dealt with. There's just too many external influences. There's like so much porn in regards for men and women. There's just so much misdirection, bad leadership, bad examples. The law in regards to marriage is really crazy and backwards. It's a money-making scheme at the end of the day to a large degree. The emphasis that religion, if you're religious, puts on it, and that you've got to do it very early on. And I'm saying the religion that I came from. My brother married his wife and she was just turned 19. I think he was like 23 or something. I mean, what the hell did he know? So the religious aspect. So there's just too many dynamics at play. There's just too many. There's just too much going on. There's not even enough time to really live. I wouldn't even call it a spiritual life. I would say not even some would agree a conscious life. But you don't really. There's no time. There's too much distraction. There's too many screens. I'm walking past these people now. young girls, and they're all on their phones. There's 3 of them, and they're young. There's one boy, he's about 7, and he doesn't have a phone on him because he hasn't got his phone yet, And I can just see it. It's scrolling, So, again, like I'm saying, what kind of childhood is that? What kind of humanity, what kind of human beings are we? And then we get married, and then we raise children, and children themselves are such a complicated affair. And again, we don't live with the grandparents aren't really around, the uncles and aunts aren't really around to help out and assist. They're on opposite sides of the world, or they're in nursing homes, or whatever it might be. They don't really have much of a value, and also maybe they're senile, or they got what do you call it? Dementia or something like that, and whatever it might be. Anyways, I just walked past this guy. I'm serious, I'm not exaggerating. I think I've seen him before. He must be early 30s, white dude, shaved head. He's completely and utterly tattooed. I think I've seen him before running on the promenade. His whole body is just ink. I mean, I remember there was one little circle left on his calf muscle it was an open space. There was just, you could see his skin, but everything else was completely covered up. It must be the same guy, because this was extreme. This guy's whole neck was done, and his head, and then he had coming onto his face was tattooed, and it wasn't colored. It was just like, the normal ink, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. You see here, I'm washing my feet. I'm going to come back to that. I'm washing my feet, but they've had to put a plastic tap here, because if they put a metal tap, what happens is that it gets stolen, and then people take it for recycling. Like people, homeless people, they steal. Like you go into bathrooms here, and anything that's metal is sort of really melted down, or like locked. Yeah, just because they steal them. And there's too much to get into, but they'll jump over your wall and steal your pipe, what's it called, the copper piping, and they get very little for it, and they'll jump over. Even if you've got a dog, a Rottweiler, or whatever it might be, they'll do that, just so they can get some cash. And what they do with that, who knows? Okay, the wind is picking up just because of where I'm at. I mean, I'm just in a sort of an opening here. I'm heading to the car, so it won't be for too long. I can't see the sunset. Yeah, but that guy with the tattoos, at such a young age, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm being serious. Like, again, what's the psychology behind it? And how do you recover from something like that? If that was my child, I'd be so heartbroken. You see these like really once upon a time these attractive, pretty, girls, and they've gone and like what you call like tattooed on their eyes, the white of their eyes. I don't know how they do that, or something like that, and permanent and or just facial tattoos, or I mean, the island boys, Ricky. I mean, you look at those guys, and the way back. What I'm saying is that I think we create so much. This is very important, very, very important, because we do so much. We cause so much, trauma to ourselves. We cause so much harm. So much compromise, so much like shame. We create so much shame, and we got to undo it. We got to kind of be able to forgive ourselves and come back to be able to have a relationship with ourselves again, or whatever that means, or just kind of like ourselves. Or not feel ashamed of ourselves when you head to the car. Yeah. And so there is something there, like I don't know. People say I'm a nice kind of guy, and so I suppose I'm somebody who, people like, and I don't think I'm unpleasant, and I've worked on myself, and I can't tell you if I feel better about myself now than I did before. I don't know what that means. How do I feel? Do I feel more confident now? I'm not sure. It just happens. I don't really have, maybe if I smoked some Mary Jane, some strong Mary Jane, I suppose when you have to be strong, then I would maybe get a better perspective or grasp and see, okay, so this is how I used to think, and this is who I used to be, this is how I used to feel about myself, and now, not so much. Like I don't feel the same way. And so, there's that. But it's hard to tell. And the thing is that, again, if I do things that create shame for myself, which I don't really do as much, but I think if, like with that guy, let's say for example with the tattoos, if one day he changes his mind and he's like, I did it because I didn't want the world to see me, so I covered myself up with tattoos. I just felt that was like my buffer from the world, and I felt safe. Look, I mean, I would take a guess, massive guess, obviously, an assumption that in order to do something like that to yourself is childhood trauma. I mean, I understand tattoos, and to a certain degree, look, maybe he's a very self-expressive person, maybe his past life he was a tattoo artist, things we don't know for sure. We just don't know. And so there's a car guard here, he watches the car. Let's see if I can give some cash to him. He did me a favour by seeing. Yeah, I got R5 for him, yeah. Thank you. Cheers. I'm sure most people, I don't know, but I think people would have just driven off. I think I'm a nice guy. He saw me, he watches the car. I mean, this is his job. He's not employed. I don't know if he's employed, but people just rock up and they watch your car, and you kind of just tip them a little bit. Yeah. So, sorry, I'm all over the show, because I want to there's only like one place, while I was walking on the promenade, I could think of only one place that I could get a meal from, because I just don't want to cook tonight. So I'm just thinking, I know only one place. It's like this vegan place, and it's not even great food. It's seitan bread. I don't know how you call it. Seitan. It's like the Buddhist way of making sort of like a meat alternative. And it's probably just so chock full of gluten and everything. So you think you're like eating healthy or more mindfully, but at the end of the day, and it's just like I was going through about for 20 minutes, and I thought, there is so many restaurants here. There are just so many restaurants, and I'm not going to get a pizza. I don't eat meat. I don't eat chicken, and I just, I don't want to get pasta. I'm trying to lose a bit of weight, and I don't know. It's just whatever food that they have. There's so many restaurants. I can't eat at any of them. But I don't know if this vegan place is open, and it's really like such poor quality food. That's the problem with Durban as well. It's the worst city in Johannesburg in regards to sort of more, if I could get like a falafel in a laffa or something like that, like in Johannesburg, I could go to a place, but I wouldn't drive all that way. I hate driving. I really dislike it, especially at night. Anyway, so what was I saying in regards to that guy and the tattoos and covering up, and then one day like doing the inner work and the healing, and then having to live in that body. Hey man, people are going to get knocked over here. What the hell is this person doing? Life doesn't have value. You just do whatever you want to do. So I was just thinking, if I had a daughter and she felt to do porn, I don't know, I just the thought of that, and how women are exploited, and how they completely let themselves go. I mean, they say it's acting, I don't know, but the fact that they can be like with with a bunch of men, like one woman and 5 guys or 10 guys, however many guys, and I just think that's somebody's child, Like, you don't do that unless, I mean, obviously, I think maybe some people do it for attention. Some women do it for rebellious, because maybe they feel empowered. But that kind of stuff for me, like, I was interested in this, was it Jenna Jameson, I think it was. She was a porn star. And I used to watch porn back in the days. Not for a very long time. I can't stomach it now. And I remember her, and there was a documentary on her, and it was very hard to watch. Because really she felt like she got her confidence from being able to please men, and do good porn. And here's this beautiful woman, beautiful soul in a way, and yet this is what she's, having to do, and that stuff stays with you, hey? Like, that stuff stays with you. I mean, also depending how sensitive you are, like, the more conscious you become, the more hectic all of that happens to be. You see, it's month end now, so now here, this area where I'm driving through, Mchlanga Rocks, is, you can maybe Google it if you want to see. I'm sure to show you some. I mean, it looks so exotic, but it's not, by the pictures. So, yeah, like a restaurant, bars, and I just don't see myself coming and sitting down and, to meet people. It's very like upmarket. It's, when people think of South Africa, they don't think of this, shopping malls, and it's just, this used to be I used to come here when I was in high school. Oh man, it was a quiet little town or city, but quiet. And there was like only one or two restaurants. Now it's just pandemonium. I mean, dude, like this guy, you're turning from the middle of the street when there is a turning lane. Yeah, I'm just saying people, and and it used to be and they just put up these high-rise hotels and buildings, and again, it's just lost its whole sort of quaint, chilled, laid-back vacation. Now it just feels like, a place for the celebrities and to hang out, and people, you know what I'm saying, just the same trash that just goes on and on and on. Yeah, so I'm in the wrong lane here. Yeah. Anyways, what can you do? So, just seeing something. Yeah, I'm almost at my destination. Yeah, so I just want to see something. Alright, so I went to this place called Buttercup. It's vegan, as I mentioned. Anyways, they were closing, and just such a heavy attitude people have, almost like you're doing them a favor. I suppose that they're closing and it's been a long day, and so I couldn't order what I wanted to, but I could only order the KFV meal, which is not great because whatever, what can you do? I mean, I'm so limited as it is. And then I was going to tip the lady, and I was asking her, I don't know whether this is interesting or not, but I'm just saying these are people, these interactions. And then I spoke to her and I said, there's an Indian shop next door, like a takeaway Indian place to make Indian food. And I said, what time do they close? She says, no, they already stopped taking orders. So I went next door and I asked them, and they said, no, we only close at 7. So I thought, hey, why, like, it didn't make sense, So anyway, it's not really worth mentioning. But yeah, I try to interact with people on a human level in a way, not on a machine-like level. But a lot of the time, that's kind of what you get in that sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm driving past a place called Ocean Basket. It's a restaurant that's like seafood, and I mean, it's just so like heavily fried, like deep fried and battered, and and I don't know, just not for me. Also quite expensive. I don't know what I would get. And then I passed a place called Debonair's, which is like a Pizza Hut. It's a pizza joint, but it's proper fast food. I mean, yeah, their food is bad. Hey? It's like proper. They put on all these different sauces. There's like sausage in the crust type of thing. You get it's called like a double decker or a triple decker. I think it's called a triple decker. It's like 3 pizzas on top of each other. And my friend Robert, he used to get them often. I mean, he was so overweight, and he'd get like a double decker with all of the sauce in it, and I would sit in the car and eat it. I thought, oh, that is so gross. It doesn't even represent a pizza, And we waited for like 10 minutes before it was done, That's proper fast food. Or there's steers where I used to eat, which is also oh man, if I got takeaways, I'd go in there, I'd go get 2 double steers burgers. I wasn't really a fan of hot chips, I must say. So I'd probably get just 2 double burgers, and then I'd be sorted. I remember when I used to go clubbing and I used to drink alcohol, and I used to go past the steers, and it was such a treat for me when I stopped keeping kosher, because I kept kosher for most of my life, and when I stopped, it was just a smorgasbord of choices of what I could of what I could eat. It was really like I went crazy. I put in so much weight because everything was available to me. When I was kosher, there was only just a few restaurants in the whole of Johannesburg that actually that I could eat from. So I went crazy. I had pizza boxes lying in the back of my car, burger wrap, burger boxes, and just I was a fast food addict in a way, none the wiser, and didn't care. I just didn't care. So, but now how life has changed for me, and I still have these days where I just feel, like tired, exhausted, and almost indifferent, to the journey, to the experience, to being this person that I have become. It's not like I've reached a state, I don't know what enlightenment is, but it's not, I don't know, I'm just, I mean, it has to count, it has to matter, and it has to be real, I suppose, also because I live in a world, in a culture, in a world that it's so downplayed, of personal development, of those kind of things. It's not important, it's irrelevant. In fact, it makes you much less popular, and it's just a harder life. It's just no doubt, it's just a harder life. You're just so much more sensitive. It's just a very dissatisfying. The world is very uncomfortable for somebody who takes on self-responsibility and becomes conscious. There is so much pain and suffering that comes with it. Endless amounts. I mean, it's a constant daily struggle. So I don't know where this idea that awakening is enlightenment and peaceful and joy and bliss and all of those things, because I honestly just don't see it. I mean, your group of friends goes down to almost zero. You're living in the city, it all becomes completely hostile. It's absolute draining, and maybe you can't get out of the city, and like I can't, and so it just becomes it's unpleasant, and it's designed that way to be unpleasant. The world is designed for it's matrix. It's designed for your compliance, for you to sell yourself out, to give up on your own journey and give up on your own virtues, your qualities, and improve yourself, and give in to the decay, to the moral, ethic, everything, just decay of things, where you become a selfish individual. And so there's lots to do in this world. There's lots to be entertained by. I mean, there's so few movies that I can actually watch that are actually worthwhile watching, or TV series. I used to watch the show Billions. I don't know how I managed to do it. I try and watch an episode now. I'm like, this is just ghastly. It's hard to focus. They got this sort of the woke stuff going on with the people, and it's not being emotional. I've got to be careful. I'm driving on the highway. It's a 2-lane highway. Let me get into the slow lane, dude, so you can take over me and do what you need to do. Yeah. And so it's isolating. You realize your vulnerability. It's very scary, becoming conscious. It's very, very frightening. And the thing is that you most likely do it on your own. So nobody really takes you by the hand. and assists you daily, you're fighting it on your own. I mean, I try and be there for people that they have me as a support, as a partner in crime, against the matrix, but they don't even see it. I mean, if I could be available to myself when I was 28 years old, and help and was there daily and built a relationship with myself, as I am today, man, oh man, oh man, how incredible that would be. Like, really, how supportive. And you'll say, well, Aaron, it needed to be hard, otherwise you wouldn't become who you are today. You had to do it on your own and being isolated. It's it makes you stronger, which I can't argue against that. I can't say no, I don't agree, because I don't know. But it's not fun. It's not a holiday. It's not peachy. It's not. Now I'm going home. It's 6:15 to an empty house all by myself. I saw Leanne today, the person in my life, and I saw her from 8:30 to 10:30, and then I dropped her back, and since then I've been on my own. And I'll be on my own maybe till tomorrow late afternoon. Yesterday I had she was there for 2-3 hours, and that was it. What kind of life is it? Am I such an awful person that people can't stand to be? It's not that, it's the opposite. So I can't stand to be around people. I can't stand to be around people. I just find them absolutely draining. Yeah. I'm supposed to go up to Johannesburg this weekend from Durban, just for I can really only manage 2 nights, but if I stay a third night, I want to come back on Sunday afternoon, but the air tickets are so expensive. It's madness how expensive they are. Like if I fly Sunday night as opposed to Monday morning, but then I'm sleeping over at my mother's house, and I'm there with her husband, and it's there in Johannesburg, and it's just like, just even thinking about it now gives me the thrills, I'm like, oh, damn it, man. And how, her house is so sterile, her house is, and, there's no real warmth, and it's on a very busy road, so there's cars and there's traffic all the time, and it's like in a Jewish area. So I walk to my father on the Saturday because it's the Sabbath, and I go to him for lunch, and then I bump into old friends that I went to school with, and it's like, Aaron, dude, and I'm not interested, man. Not interested. I don't have the energy for it. I just don't have the energy for it. But they're so interested. I've had people cross the road to come and greet me and shout from far. I mean, I think it's just, they would do that for most people as well. It's just like, hey, you're a blast from the past. Some people really, once in a while, be like, oh man, it's so nice to see you. Really. And, it's great, but I'm just, yeah. So that's Johannesburg, and even though I'm talking about it, I actually feel a bit sick about going. It's a mission, having to Uber to the airport. It's not a long flight, it's an hour's flight. Oh jeez, I don't know if I'm up for it, eh? But also, if I don't go, then I go crazy, because it's the same thing over and over and over again for me, day in and day out on my own. At least when I go to Johannesburg, I see my mother and I'm around some people. Then I have a break, and then I come back. Oh, and I feel a bit refreshed for a couple of days. I feel a little bit focused, and I can get things around the house done more, so I don't feel so heavy. But literally after 3 or 4 days, that heaviness just comes back, and it's Bob's your uncle, I'm just stuck in it, in the isolation, and the watch, rinse, repeat, and it's terrible. But you know what? I don't know. Before, I used to go to Johannesburg. I'd go for 3 nights, no problem. But now it's really very uncomfortable. I don't know. And then I'm sitting, I'm around my family and my father, and I just see these people, and they're just so not healthy, and they're just so living in this dream, in this bubble, in this one-dimensional, grey. Oh, it's terrible. And try and have a conversation, and I don't even understand what they're saying. And before, I used to go because, I don't know, there was a part of me that, like, I wanted my father to be proud of me. I wanted him to see that, I'm not wayward, I'm not a drunk, I'm not an addict. I know that I didn't get married and settle down and do the Jewish thing. I know all of these things, but I wanted him to, I don't know, there was just something important. But now I just don't care. It's like, dude, I don't know why. I just changed. I just don't care. It's like, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Just stop. Just don't stop supporting me financially, because then I'm screwed. Type of thing. So that's also, I go and I show face. It's important that, because it's like I'm part of the family, and don't forget about me. And I'm not a self-made man anywhere close to it. Hey, man, it's a joke. How much money, that I've made myself personally. It's barely, can barely cover the water and the lights. Yeah. Anyways, I just arrived back at the house, greeted by this cat of mine, who is just really sometimes a real pain. If I keep on talking now, she's just going to keep crying and crying and crying and crying. Is she really happy to see me, or is she just happy for the company? Can you move out of the way? She's busy licking herself. I mean, I'm going to drive over you. She's just so... I don't know. Not very intelligent, I must say. If I actually keep talking in the car for long enough, she just jumps on the bonnet of the car and she walks on the windscreen and she cries. She looks at me and she cries and cries and cries. And she's not hungry, she wants attention. And then she also thinks I'm going to walk her now. And I play outside with her, or whatever it might be. Yeah. Anyway, so I've arrived back, and thanks for keeping me company. And this is just my schmooze, my rant, and just my life, my thoughts as well. Okay.